Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your 2022 Oakland mayoral candidate. Well, the other night, Sunday, we were at ZANZI, Oakland, and it was KTVU Channel 2 Plus with Henry Lee, and all of us mayoral candidates were invited. Not everybody showed up. Three of the candidates that didn't show was John Redmond, Derrick Johnson, and Stephen Shear. But present was myself, Albert Owens, who's a last-minute entry into the mayor's race, Peter Liu, Alyssa Victory, Treva Reed, Lauren Taylor, Shang Tao, Ignacio De La Fuente, Seneca Scott, and Greg Hodge. Greg Hodge was kind of a little bit late, but he managed to get in and was there for all four questions that were asked that were pretty much the main concerns for City of Oakland residents and the City of Oakland voters. One of the things when we got to the homeless topic, Shang Tao, Lauren Taylor really started it espousing at how much work they put into the EMP, which is the Encampment Management Policy that was voted on and approved unanimously, but has yet to be implemented in the City of Oakland. And I'm going to tell you why it's not and hasn't been implemented in the City of Oakland. Number one, we actually had 3 council members that promised us or assured us that they would not vote to approve that EMP. They also had a lot of questions about inequities to people of color living on the street, which is 72% of all the homeless folks. And since 2019, as of yesterday, the last pit count came out. As of 2019, the City of Oakland has grown the homeless population by 24%. So that's 24% more people now living on Oakland streets. There was a county that had a reduction in its homeless population, and that was across the bay with Mayor London Breed, and we know what they did there. I have a lot of good programs that I was introducing at the get-together at ZANZI, and also the neighborhood gathering and meet and greet in District 4. When it came to my turn talking about the homeless, I talked about how inequitable that EMP was, and that for the most part, it banned homeless folks in 92% of all of Oakland. And there were very few places for the homeless people to set up camp, an emergency house, a home, a shelter, even parking was not allowed anywhere in 92% of Oakland. And so we had a lot of issues with that. So did several council members. And then on the day of when it was to be voted on by the city council, we had over 250 people show up and speak against approving the EMP. We had, I sit on a council that we advocate for the homeless, and that agency is HAWG, H-A-W-G, Homeless Advocacy Working Group. And I attend these meetings. I have been attending these meetings for a number of years now. I'm very well known in there as one of the founders and leaders of the homeless camp here in Oakland, namely the 77th Ave Rangers community. We are also the first city-sanctioned site in the city of Oakland, and we actually got that sanctioning March 18th of 2018. and we've been here ever since. Yes, there's been some problems here and there, but for the most part, when under my management and leadership, this has not been a problem encampment for the city of Oakland. In fact, we've been told many a times that we are the most quiet. We have the fewest 911 calls out of all the camps in all of Oakland. We have the fewest 911 calls for medical emergencies. We have the fewest calls for police interaction, and we have the fewest crime events in this area as compared to all the other camps in Oakland. So comparing all that, and then Shang Tao started talking about she is all about equality, but yet she voted to be inequitable to the people living here on the streets. And then also in that discussion, she was talking about, she was throwing EIFDs, enhanced infrastructure funding districts, all over the place. I truly don't believe she truly understands what EIFDs are about and how they're structured and their implementation. I have been learning about that myself, so I have a lot of information on that. And with my friend Zinni Abraham of Zinni 62 Media, he's helped me along a lot, plus with a lot of research that I've done. I believe I have a very good grasp of how everything works, and the creation and what we truly need to do to recreate a JPA for moving EIFDs that Shang Tao doesn't realize is that this also involves the Alameda County supervisors. And as you know, City of Oakland and the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, we've been on very bad terms since Mount Davis back in the 90s, when we were sold, Oakland was sold down the road by one particular supervisor. And so anyway, moving past that, we have to reestablish good relations with our Alameda County supervisor counterparts, and that's what I plan on doing. I've already am known to practically everybody, and then also new candidates that are running for the vacated, but unfortunate former seat of Wilma Chan, Supervisor Wilma Chan. So we have several people running for that particular seat, and most of them know me. I've been a strong community advocate. I'm not a politician, as I tell a lot of people, because, well, why are you in politics then if you're not a politician? Because I say, well, there's the difference between a politician and a community advocate. A community advocate advocates for change and causes change. Politicians simply flaps their lips and tell you what they might be able to do and make you a lot of false promises. I'm not that. I'm brutally truthful on everything that I talk about. I don't sugarcoat things like a politician does, and that's what we've been getting for the last 20 years, sugarcoating. And look where it's got us. So things have to change. But at the meeting, yes, I did step on some toes, and those needed to be stepped on. And believe me, this campaign for Oakland mayor is not going to be pretty at times. One of the things that my opponents are probably going to have a difficult time is finding dirt on me. That the dirt that they may be able to find on me is more like dandruff. So I'm not concerned with anything. I've advocated for a lot of things here in Oakland as a community advocate. Most of you have heard about what's happening with ABNI. They will be shutting down by the end of the year, and their property is already being sold to a developer to redevelop the property. I was instrumental on the closure of that, and I worked with Rob Bonta's office directly on that. And I also have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit in place against ABNI. And the funds, if I am able to come out with whatever money from that, that's what's going to go into my tiny home projects to help the homeless folks. So I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not about businesses and their growth, but I am concerned about business, especially Oakland businesses. And so I have 3 programs and plans already under development, we'll say. One's already been in front of the Planning Commission for the city of Oakland. So we've been through the first round, and then suddenly COVID hit, which put the threw an anchor overboard and halted everything for right now. But I fully plan on reviving that plan of action. We need to recreate 2 lost destination attractions. Those 2 lost attractions being Golden State Warriors and Oakland Raiders. So by replacing those, we have to look at the future. Right now, there's a strong future with soccer, the Oakland Roots, who are a new team, but actually need a much better field than what they're having to use right now. Also, we're looking at a new WNBA team. I would love to see in collaboration with one of my projects for downtown Oakland is the creation of a downtown stadium just for the WNBA, the ladies there. And it'll bring back West Oakland and allows a lot of downtown working folks to support the WNBA teams. And it puts back the community trust and pride right there in Oakland. And then we have the soccer team, Oakland Roots, which would be here at the Coliseum site. So we're spreading the wealth around Oakland, and we're being equitable about this. And so we also have a West Oakland project that is being looked at right now. So a lot of great things, a lot of exciting things. The community advocates also, we listen to you, the residents, and the people that are being harmed or have major concerns. That's who I worked with. And I worked with a lot of government agencies to make sure that all the proper tests were done. And then even as one of the case elements inside of the harm that ABNI Foundry was causing, my medical records were part of that lawsuit. And you could see the harm that was done over the years of me living here. And when I was a little further away for a year, a lot of the breathing issues, a lot of the vocal issues that I have currently, mostly cleared up. And it was within 2 weeks of me returning back here and being re-exposed to those emissions that triggered me having another bout of what I'm going through right now. So I worked for the community. I experienced what the community experienced. I fought for the community, and I'm fighting for the community to be compensated who has been harmed. So we're looking at that. When I worked for Alameda County, or I served on a CAB board for Alameda County Health Systems, we were instrumental in laying the foundation for universal health care. Yes, that's right. I was involved with universal health care, the very foundation that makes everything work. And what is that? That's information. We were part of the team and also the hospital that put in place a new computer system that is able to talk and communicate with any health systems throughout the United States. And so your records, no matter where you are, follow you anywhere across the United States. And that's been the biggest problem because in the event of emergency where minutes count, it takes hours to get information transferred. But this way, with the new system by Epic, which is the name of it, Epic. So next time you talk to your doctor, ask them if they are on Epic or if their system talks to Epic, EPIC. That is the system that we helped put in place. It wasn't perfected when I stepped down, but it was running very well. I spoke with a lot of doctors and even my own doctors through Alameda Health Systems, and everybody was very happy. We talked about some of the shortfalls. Those were brought up in CAB meetings that I was a part of, and so a lot of those issues were addressed in the time that I've been gone. So I was part of that group that helped put Epic in place, talk to the doctors about what the shortcomings were, and we helped address those flaws and shortcomings to make the system better, quicker. And so I was in that part, and that was a very important part. Then on top of that, we've had I've been a part of HAWG, HAWG, Homeless Advocacy Working Group. I've been a part of that since 2017 and have worked with that group. It's a balanced group of concerned Oakland residents, Oakland businesses, Oakland leaders, religious leaders, publication city council members, and at times we'll have Caltrans representatives speaking at the meeting, along with various City of Oakland administrators talking about many of the issues that are plaguing Oakland these days. So that's part of my advocacy. Plus, I work with, as a founder and leader here at 77th Avenue, I promised all of my people when homelessness was peaking out back in 2019 that I was going not only run for office, I was going to make sure that everybody got proper housing, plus the continuum of care that they're going to need to remain successful and stay in housing and not return to the street, which is something that is not incorporated in today's program. So I fully understand on how to help people off the streets back into housing and back into mainstream society. And then those that have mental challenges, I fully support the new CARES Court Act that Governor Gavin Newsom has just started putting in place. Yes, there's some controversy, and the people that are saying that it's inequitable are full of crap. And I'll say it, they're full of crap. Because these are the exact type of courts that we currently use, and for conservators of people's estate, and for conservatorships, an impartial judge determines whether the person that they're talking to is qualified to make life decisions for themselves in a reasonable manner and with a pretty good chance of maintaining mental acuity. And so once the judge determines that, if they're determined to be fine, they're free to go. But the only thing is that they do have to go into some sort of emergency housing, which is part of my plan for West Oakland in the utilizing Oakland's Middle Harbor for emergency use, and by putting at least 6 cruise ships back out in Middle Harbor for this number one creates the safety nets that are needed for those that are losing their homes, that are having mental challenges, also those that are coming out of incarceration. It gives them a safe place to stay and not falling back into the old habits that they had previously, and not getting back involved with perhaps the crimes and the things that they were doing bad to land them in jail to begin with. So we have a lot of ways to abate many of today's issues. Many of today's issues are compounded by the fact that there's a lot of criminal activity. The City of Oakland and Oakland Police Department still refuse to believe that there are gangs, crime gangs, that are utilizing a lot of the homeless encampments throughout Oakland as hiding spots. And I say that because I have driven a lot of these individuals off, these gang members that were very violent, and they shoot people, they stab people, they threaten, they're stealing cars, they're carjacking, they're stripping cars. And so these are the people that I've already dealt with personally, face to face. So I know what's happening on the street, whereas the city council members haven't a clue about what's happening on the street, because only thing they do is read the police reports or hear it on the news. And then we have another mayoral candidate who is a long time, I have a lot of respect for him, which is Ignacio De La Fuente. He was on the city council for nearly 2 decades. He was served as city council president on many occasions also. So while I do respect him in that sense of the service that he's given to the city of Oakland and the Oakland residents, he has completely lost touch as far as what's happening in the homeless community, because it is his belief that the homeless population that is plaguing Oakland are 82% non-Oaklanders. 82% are non-Oaklanders, according to his claim from Sunday. I was ready to really rebut to that, but it was better that I held my tongue and we discuss it, off mic. But he is out of touch with what's going on. So, and Ignacio, unfortunately, yes, you're 72. I myself, I hope that I will never have to be working when I'm that age. That's just me. But anyway, I don't feel that Ignacio can get the job done properly. He has no idea on new policing procedures, whereas I am from that arena. I worked nearly 20 years in high government here with the Department of Defense, and as a counterterrorism specialist. And so a lot of people say, well, what'd you do? Well, there's a lot of things that I did, and it was kind of like, well, what didn't I do? And so a lot of that will be coming out in stories here in the near future about my work in counterterrorism and how it relates to a lot of solving a lot of crime and reducing crime here in Oakland. And these are new techniques. These are new modern day creations that evolve as criminals and crime evolve also. So it's a new way of policing that our government does very quietly, and it's all legal, it's all legitimate, and it addresses a lot of the issues that Oakland had to address with the Riders case and coming off the federal watch intervention from the 90s. And so we're finally getting off of that. We're on a 1-year probation, so hopefully a year from now, City of Oakland Police Department won't be under constant review from the federal government. So these are things that I would be pushing forward. Also, I would would have been first thing up, pushing to remove the federal oversight from the Oakland Police Department, because I know that they have had a lot of success and a lot of changes. There's a lot of change to the culture of Oakland Police Department now with Chief LaRon Armstrong, and so things are moving in a good direction for City of Oakland. I have plans for that address the new RENA allotment for City of Oakland. City of Oakland under the RENA, which is required housing needs allotment. And that's for an 8-year period. The past 8-year period, which ends next year in 2023, we as Oakland in itself did extremely poor. We didn't come anywhere near the RENA numbers that were required for housing, for affordable housing for our city. And so those numbers that were not developed and put in place were added to the next RENA period. And so right now, the City of Oakland for the next RENA period starting in 2024 is 26,000 units. Sheng Tao has been talking about the RENA, but yet she still lacks any real solutions, or even I haven't really seen her much on there. But the solution that I bring immediately addresses that exact 26,000 required units, and it can all be completed and in place before that 8-year expiration period. So those are the kind of solutions that I bring, and it won't cost us a fortune. That's the big thing that a lot of folks are talking about. Well, how much is it going to cost? It's going to cost a whole lot less than you think. I can't give you the numbers yet because I haven't finished crunching them, but it's going to be worthwhile, and it addresses a lot of things, and it is sustainable. That's the good part. It is sustainable because these emergency rooms will also be FEMA qualified. So in the event of fires up north and people are needing emergency shelters, we have a place for them to come, and then they don't have to pay for hotels and worry about where they're going to stay. They know that the lodging that will be provided is long-term. Services can all be right there within a couple of elevator rides for FEMA offices and different loan agencies and all the things that are required to get back into a home in the fire burn zone. And so these are all challenges that I'm working to solve and also incorporate into a great big project. And so we want to create a new destination attraction because we lost the Warriors and also the Raiders. So we can also build to the future. We have soccer to build upon. We have the WNBA to build on. We have new USFL sports, which are expanding here in the United States. We used to have a USFL club long time ago. It was very short-lived. We also had, Oakland had a hockey team called the Seals back in the 60s and before they left. So sports can be recovered and restored here, and we can actually make the events much more exciting and much more fun by creating and making these attraction sites, 3 different attraction sites, sustainable, entertaining, and educational. And that's what I plan on doing with the campaign. So stick with me, folks, over the course of the next few months. This is going to get really fun. It's going to be entertaining, educational, and very informational. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.